Welcome back, everybody. We've got on to the best of threes. It's day one here at the Supernova CSGO event in Malta, and it has already been action-packed. Now it's time to introduce Maniac, as he has arrived a little bit later yesterday, but you've got to enjoy a bit of Malta already, right, mate?
Yeah, I did. I had a little bit, last night, one drink, right? We had to be fit for today, of course.
Okay.
But it looks like it's a very vivid area. There's like a lot of stuff happening. It's my first time in Malta. It's also my first time with you as a desk host. My first time with you on the desk with me. A lot of new experiences, so yeah, I'm impatient.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Now, this is our first best of three, right? And we get Tyloo versus HR. Many people would have predicted it would have been big in this situation, but they dropped the ball when it came to it. And now Tyloo, there's a little bit of history here between these two teams, right? They've had these past matchups, once at the Major and then once at Star Series as well. And they're actually 50-50 in terms of just recent results.
Well, I think it's a fair assessment, right? When you look at this lineup and the way they've played even the past few weeks and at this event, it's hard for me. There's no obvious winner that comes to my mind. I cannot say that team is going to win for sure or the other one is going to win. I think it very much depends on how the veto goes, how the individuals show up, the form in the moment. But that's what is exciting about the matchup, right? Anything could happen, and it's the best of three, and we get to enjoy it for a very, very long time. So, yeah. We're all winners.
Oh, yes, we are all winners. And our second game that we'll get on the best of three is going to be NRG versus Liquid, which you can see on your screen. Now, this is the one where we expected it to go this way, right? This was the predictions that come into play. And then we get a lovely one of the Kingwin versus VP, which will be an all-star battle, right, of a blast from the past mixed in with who's got the better performance at the moment in time. And as you go on to Group B, obviously Tyloo versus HR, that's coming up next, but Big versus Gambit. Now, obviously a Gambit that's forced into a few situations they would ideally not want to have before this event, and Big, who really, they now need to play their A game. There's no more mistakes to be made here, and potentially they either face Hellraisers or go up against Tyloo again, and that's where it gets a little bit tricky. And there you go. There's the rest of our matches for today, and that is day one nearly underway. But I don't know, man. I really, when I look at this Tyloo versus Hellraisers match, I think this is one with the potential for all the maps to go in real deep here, because HR still obviously got to adjust to having Hobbit added into the roster. HR, a very confident team, tactical team, but Tyloo, they've just consistently now continue to improve. We're seeing so much more of them.
I think Hobbit had a bit of a slow start in the previous map, but now that he's warmed up and he's back into it, I think that Tyloo have got to be worried coming into this. They've got to really consider. They've got to think of their opponents highly. They're not going to be coming into this thinking, oh, it's just an easy game. And it is going to be a close one. Like Matthew was saying, it's going to be hard. It depends on the maps that come out, really. It's difficult to pick a forerunner here, You've got Xcurate there on the screen. Best stats of the day so far, or at least up on the board. And he was, he was thriving with that AWP. The thing about Tyloo is he stepped down a little bit towards the end, towards the start of the second half on Overpass, but you had straight away somebody was able to step in. I mean, somebody, the player, not.
No. Yeah, it's nice that you said that, because I was thinking, yeah, that's right. They have a lot of good players, right?
Someone, but who was it? But that's the thing. It's not going to be an easy victory for Hellraisers by any means, but I do think maybe I slightly favor them. I think in the best of three series, Tyloo will find it hard depending on those maps that do come out. Their map pool isn't really as strong per se against the European teams, and especially considering the recent form. When you look at the likes of the Toyota Masters, Bangkok and stuff, they've had some pretty disappointing losses. But starting things off well here today by taking down Big, maybe this represents a different Tyloo.
Now look at this, right? We hadn't seen a Liquid player put on this board for day one stats just yet. Now, okay, they beat VP, but it was more of like an overall team performance. But this is where it starts to show, just in the kill to death ratio. This is where the teamwork side of things comes in. That's just dominant. You've basically got the whole Liquid lineup there.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Liquid as being a mini Astralis in the sense that they have probably one of the most complete 5 at the moment. Yeah. Obviously, Astralis is up there. You can't deny that. But yeah, Liquid, all of these players, in my opinion, are one of the best at their role. The only, debatable discussion you could have is Nitro's performance with the AWP, but I think he has shown over time in events that he can go up and he can pick it up when needed. But besides that, everyone is capable in Liquid, and that's why we could see them in that graphic.
And I think that's something you can say the same about both of these teams, right? Like, the Tyloo side, everybody there is able to put up their good performances. You saw over on the Overpass map, it was pretty consistent. Whenever somebody stepped down, somebody else was there to come up and take their place. And it is a similar performance over on Hellraisers. I was looking through the stats there to try and highlight somebody, and everybody was standing out. That was the thing. Like you had Issa, Angel, Dead Fox, and Moxic, I think, fluctuating between like 18 and 20 kills. When you have a team having that close of a performance, it can be very hard because it's not a case of, say, you're against NRG. Okay, we've picked off Cirque. Well, now it's a little bit easier in the round. You've taken their star out. Nobody really stood out as a star on Hellraisers in the previous game. They were just playing as a team.
Now, this is the head-to-head we were talking about. Now, the Nuke, Mirage, and Cobble games are back in 2017, so I'm just going to straight away ignore that, and that's pointless to even look over. But it's interestingly enough, right, we were talking about this when we saw Tyloo pick into their first map there against Big, and it was Overpass, Overpass, Overpass that Tyloo have been trying to bring into their map pool. And it's also the last 2 maps that these two have played against each other, and they've traded it out. Tyloo winning one, Hellraisers winning the other. This just shows where the flip-flops can come into that kind of sense, and this is a new HR.
It is actually quite impressive and interesting, but the thing is, you have to consider Hobbit is quite new to that lineup.
Yes.
In that sense, I could see why Tyloo would accept and let Overpass go through, because if you think about the previous Hellraisers lineup, Overpass was one of their best maps by far, stats-wise. Now they have a new man. We know that Overpass is a very tactical map. Are they ready? Do they have all the process? Do they have all the tactics together? Maybe not. So in that sense, Tyloo, they are accepted to play Overpass against Big. They won it, so you know the confidence capital is here.
Absolutely.
They might let it through against Hellraisers again, and they have won it the last time they played against her. So it could be a potential map. I wouldn't see Tyloo picking it, but I could see why they would leave it in the pool.
Yeah, maybe leave it as a decider if they need to. And the thing is, like, you think about it, Hobbit's been on that lineup 3 weeks. It's a thing that it will really disrupt the rotations. So taking a map like Overpass there, when they're over on the CT side, it might disrupt them just enough to give Tyloo that competitive edge. In a map where they claimed 16 to 10 last time, an extra couple of rounds due to poor rotations would certainly help them out.
Now, we've always seen, right, in terms of the Gambit lineup, when Hobbit was a part of that team, it was always Hobbit and Adren going for the English interviews and talking that way. The rest of them trying to generally avoid it. Now, Hobbit comes into this, and this team is already fully speaking English the whole way through, right? They did that for Wox and Issa to come in, and how this lineup came about for HR. This is a very new position for Hobbit. So, for me, I think, okay, he's capable of English, but this is such a big change, and I don't know how long it would take to kind of adjust to that, really.
It was something he was seeking out actively, though.
Yeah,
right?
he was asking for it as well. This is where his next step wants to go.
So he must feel comfortable to some capacity in that role.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously he would be the one to answer that question most. But in my opinion, English Counter-Strike it's not that difficult, right? It's a very limited vocabulary that you have to master. Obviously, sometimes when the stress is really high and you really have to get that information precisely, maybe you're gonna stumble a little bit, not gonna find your words, and that could be a problem. But overall, I have to say, I myself have played in teams that did not speak French, so I had to learn, for example, German in 1.6 or English, obviously. And there is a good side of it, is that you never pollute the communication. You never say something that you're not supposed to say, because it's not your first language. You know, you're not going to go and maybe whine or flame a teammate or being very rage about something that's happening, because you don't have the words for it, you know?
Ooh, well, we get the veto in straight away. So Train goes out. So as we start talking this, we know both teams do not play Nuke whatsoever, so that's going to be the floated map for whoever wants to hold on to it the longest.
Yeah, we were talking about it. There's going to be a psychological battle. Do we veto Nuke? Do we let it through? Both teams don't play it.
Ooh, Tyloo went for it.
There we go. And in my opinion, Tyloo just lost.
You're just an early,
virtually lost the beginning of the veto, right? Because they removed Nuke. Both teams don't play it, which gives Hellraisers the possibility to veto Train. They accepted to leave Nuke in it. Now Hellraisers have more freedom to choose what map they want to play.
And it would be a little risky, leaving it in until the end for Tyloo, because they would essentially have to choose whatever the last map left over was. If it came down to their final ban, they would only have Nuke and whatever, so they would make Hellraisers essentially get to choose the last 2 maps. But doing it early on, it does rob them of a map veto late on. Dust 2 and Mirage coming out. Very puggy maps for these 2 teams.
Well, like Dust 2, right? Hellraisers were one of the teams that really early picked it up as soon as it was introduced back into the map pool. It's something they'll confidently play. Not like they're like that amazing on it, but it's one that Angel just seems to be like, yep, we can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers of Hellraisers, Dust 2, past 3 months, all competitions, that's only 30% win rate. So it's not that great.
Low.
You know, that's why I'm a little bit surprised. But then you have to think, this is a new lineup. Maybe that's one of the maps they focused more. They don't. They didn't have many months with Hobbit. You know, we looked, he joined 20 days ago officially. So maybe that's one of the maps they have put the focus on, and it's also quite a puggy map in that sense. So maybe no need for such, mechanical detail. So in that sense, I could understand the Dust 2 pick. Mirage, on the other hand, it's a pretty good map for Tyloo, 71% 71% win rate over the past 3 months. That's more of a comfort pick in that sense. Sure. So the veto so far, Tyloo must feel happy, consider they took the risk of removing Nuke, which put them in a very dangerous position.
Yeah.
All things considered, they must be quite happy with the veto.
Yeah, I think that's kind of worked out, all things considered, because that Nuke one could have really, if they left it floated, they could have tried to force Hellraiser's hand a little bit. But it's worked out on quite an even pegging stool here. And we'll start with Dust 2, but before we get to that, guys, what did you just make of the overall decision-making there? Do you think this favors one team in particular, or have we met a middle ground?
I think we're pretty much at the middle ground. I just want to say that I think for Tyloo to beat Hellraisers is probably a good timing right now, because overall I would probably say Hellraisers have more experience in the sense of Angel. He's been in the top CS for a long time. He leads the team. So in that sense, the Counter-Strike principle they have is probably a little bit better than Tyloo. And individually speaking, I couldn't really give Tyloo such a big edge, considering Woxic, Obit, Issa. But now could be a good time for Tyloo to snag a best of 3, because this new iteration of Hellraisers, they are probably not as ready as they would like to be. Yeah. So if Tyloo is ever going to do it, that could be now.
It's this knife tactic as well. Let's just chill. Let's not even do it long at the moment. Let's make it as long as possible. They finally go in for it and bite the bullet, so to speak, or bite the knife.
I think when we go to Inferno, that's where I would kind of, if it does go to the third map, I'd maybe favor Tyloo going into it if they can trade it 1-for-1, just because of the maybe staggered CT rotations you might see coming through from Hellraisers, and maybe they haven't got a whole lot prep. But I think Inferno is generally a relatively good map for HR. That said, we don't have a whole lot of stats, obviously, with Hobbit on the team, but by and large, it's not too much to adapt, but you do have that long CT rotation, so that could cause a couple of problems for them.
And when we look at this, guys, and how you guys think it's going to go prediction-wise, we're going to do it map by map as well to start us off with here, because we'll be breaking down each map individually. We've got Dust 2 to start off with, and before we get to that, then we can just look at this. We've got one more to look at. Now, these are the questionable results you look at, right? Okay, we saw the 16-9 Gambit that happened here today. We got the Wendigo one, which was the... Okay, we spoke about it in a little bit of brief, the whole ESL Pro League side of things. But it's, again, not nice for either team.
This is where we, as a desk, we must realize that there is information we don't have, right? Because just based on the numbers, based on the stats that we have, picking Dust 2 for me doesn't really make that much sense. But we have to realize there's stuff happening we don't know. Maybe they put a lot of practice, a lot of efforts into Dust 2. Maybe this is going really well in the practice. Maybe Hobbit is feeling good. Because it is also very important when you have a new member in the team that you get to play official maps where he feels comfortable with his new role. So maybe Hobbit is feeling very confident in Dust 2. The team is having good result in practice. That, for me, would be the only explanation why they would go for Dust 2, where they could have had other picks way more comfortable for them. They decide Dust 2. There must be reasons for it. We just don't know it, and we can see them right from the outside now.
Perhaps also the lack of comfort for Tyloo there, 16-5 to Heroic. That was very recently. It's a very fresh win. And in a couple of those maps, it was very close. So Dust 2 seemed to be a map that either massively stood out for Heroic or was just really not working for Tyloo. That said, I don't see this as being a bad map for Tyloo. Sure, they haven't had a whole lot of success over the last 3 months in it. But I can see them certainly standing their own ground here. I do think, though, I can see the potential for HR to take this for sure. Look at how they played up against Gambit. There was a little bit of an upset early on, but then they completely shut them out when they swapped sides. So I think that their T side is going to be a difficult hurdle to overcome for Tyloo.
What I'm really looking forward to seeing as well is Exacurate to see how he can do against Woxic, right? Two very capable AWPers. Now, he's already dealt with Smuya. How can he do against Woxic? And Woxic, he was putting in the work when it came to Dust 2 against Gambit.
I think it's fair to say that Dust 2 is one of Woxic's best map.
He loves it.
And at the same time, it's one of the AWPers' best map in general, because the amount of moves you can have, the amount of impact that you have. For example, if your CT AWPer just owns the middle of the map, that's his house. Can you imagine how much pressure it puts on the T side to develop? If you can never get too short without a smoke, without two flashes. We had that situation back then in Titan, talking long time ago, with, when we had double ops on Dust 2, no one could ever go anywhere because there's so many long distance fights. So Woxic, extremely strong and potent on Dust 2. If he brings that game again, Tyloo could be in trouble.
That was the thing. I mean, in the last map we saw, A-Long was pretty much locked down. Anytime they tried to go there, Woxic was just waiting for them and taking them out, and Gambit couldn't really get any progress on the T side towards A-Long. It was short where they had the success when they managed to get the smokes and the flashes down, closing the distance. You just got to find a way to work around Woxic, and that's a lot easier said than done.
Oh, yes, it is. Now, Prediction time. Mitch, starting with you, where do you think this one's going to go?
I think this one's probably going to be HR. There is very limited data on Tyloo's Dust. Like we said, they played it 4 times. They've won 1 out of 4.
Yep.
But like it's a very small statistic pool. I'm going to say HR take it, though, just because they seem to be the more
I agree.
comfortable team.
I would go with Hellraisers as well. I don't have any reason to go for Tyloo, really.
Yeah.
And I'm very much the same, right? It looks like it's going to be a Hellraiser show across the board. And the next show we're going to come to is looking at the commentators. And we've got 2 fresh faces for you guys this time around. Can HR get this done? Is us going to be right here on the desk, or will it be a little bit of an upset? What can Tyloo do? Dinko and Hawker, it's time for you guys to shine for your first best of 3 here at Supernova.
Yep, thank you very much, James. I'm excited to be here, Alex. We're finally made it to Malta, and we're here to cast some Counter-Strike. I mean, coming into this game, I'm actually really excited because I feel like, you know, Hellraiser's slightly wounded in a way because obviously bringing a new player in, that's going to leave them a little weak. You know, Tyloo, this is their chance. They've taken down Big, who many would predict is probably the favorite of Group B coming into this event, and they end up taking a first map win against them.
Yeah, and it definitely is an interesting map heading into Dust 2, especially for Tyloo. Like was pointed out on the desk, not a map we see them play too often, so I am interested to see what they have. And also, we did get to see a really solid performance from Hellraisers, especially on that T side, as was noted. And another interesting thing for Tyloo is that historically, it's been Buntet who's really been the hard carry of this team, but that's really not become the case recently. I'd say somebody has probably been the best player for this side, so kind of a switch in players for Tyloo, and maybe that makes sense because obviously Buntet is also that in-game leader.
Yeah, obviously taking a bit of a burden on board. I think it's a storyline. Yeah. Throughout this entire year, you know, Tyloo having a huge mix of different languages they're using. They've got 2 Indonesian players, 3 Chinese players. You know, you're really clutching at straws there in terms of communication. And a bit of broken Mandarin, bit of broken English, and we'll just try and smash it together. And that will definitely take a hit on the communication and in-game leadership. But I'm looking forward to coming into this one. I think I got to go against the grain of the desk. I think I got to go with Tyloo. I feel like they looked pretty good earlier. You know, they did just scrape a win, but Captain Mo had a good performance there this morning. We've seen him close out the game in the end. I think, like you said, somebody, definitely an excellent player. And you've got Execute with AWP. I think he could actually be efficient in challenging Woxic towards the CT side.
Yeah, definitely. And again, just talking about Tyloo, Captain Mo had those health problems recently. You know, obviously he was in the wheelchair at the minor, but then he also had some other issues recently. So it's good to see him get back to that level because his stats in the past few months haven't been great. But here we are into the first best of 3 of the day. It's Tyloo going up against Hellraisers here on Dust 2 to kick things off. I'm going to go with Hellraisers as well. I have faith in them after their win over Gambit earlier in the day. But let's see what they have to offer. Woxic already taking fights and a quick 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, 2 kills coming in. It's into a 3 versus 4 man advantage there for Tyloo, just about. But pulled back by Hobbit as they try to spring into the A-bomb site. Hobbit holds the site, looking very strong indeed. Execute able to pick up the headshot, take him down immediately, and leaves Bintet left in a 1 versus 2. Yes, like you said, was once this mad fragger for this team to carry, but has to show it here in a 1 versus 2 clutch. Does 99 damage to Dead Fox. He is himself on 2 HP, so that's incredibly difficult. Still possible with 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time to rotate over towards the A-bomb site. Going to get that plant in, and this retake has to be successful. They've got a kid alive on Dead Fox along with a smoke.
Buntet just so low on health, as is Dead Fox. 1 stray bullet will kill either of these 2 men. Buntet sitting on the site, but in comes Dead Fox, and Hellraisers take the initial pistol round victory. Pretty close one there. The initial aggression straight up A short from Tyloo. There was maybe a bit of a surprise, but Hellraisers were aware of that. Woxic was able to at least get the 1 kill, and then because of the early information they had, thanks to Woxic's aggressive position, they were able to rotate, they were able to get into position to stop the push, and that allows Hellraisers to take their first round on the board. They will be happy with that.
Yeah, 1-0. Good start for Hellraisers. For a second there, Bintet definitely looked to try and take a kill. You know, if he takes that player down towards short, Dead Fox, he's the man with the kit in the smoke, right? If he eliminates him, doesn't hit him for 99, able to connect the kill, 1 versus 1, definitely possible with a headshot coming through. But obviously, not to be. Hellraisers, I'm excited. I think they are going to be a really good team here on Dust 2. We obviously seen them earlier today. Maniac was saying that, you know, this is a team, Banks, in fact, was saying how they don't generally want to go with this map and how Angel wants to keep pushing it forward for this team. And they did look pretty good earlier. I think a huge factor for why, it wasn't as convincing as it could have been was because Hobbit had that sort of slow start. After speaking with him after that game, he was obviously very disappointed in his individual performance, and he has to step up here, he said. So starts off well in the pistol, picks up 2 kills, Alex, so definitely looking strong.
Yeah, and we also had Angel in one of the interviews earlier say that Hellraisers weren't 100% prepared due to that roster move, and therefore they're going to focus on their own game. They need to improve their own level, so they haven't done too much research onto the opposition, and I think that's definitely the place to start for Hellraisers, right? Focus on your own game. They seem to be focusing on Dust 2, which is definitely a map that is kind of up for debate, right? There aren't too many teams who consistently try to play this map, so if Hellraisers could make this one of their strengths, that could already give them a big advantage, either in terms of a map pick or forcing a ban from your opponents, because if Hellraisers keep winning Dust, that's going to force the other team to ban it against you.
Well, yeah, there is that caveat that a lot of teams will just like to play their own comforts. They feel like they should just play their own game and they'll just ban their insta-ban, usually. But having that in your back pocket, especially in the best of 3, is really good for Hellraisers if they can consistently win Dust 2. I feel like Dust 2 is definitely a map that can start to favor the aim stars. Back in the day, the older editions, I feel like it's getting a little bit more structured. We were kind of talking about that earlier today, how it is getting a little bit more structured. But we seem to be getting ready to go back into the action very shortly, so hopefully we won't be waiting too much longer. I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not Hellraisers get that good start on the CT side. I want to see the AWP bot and Woxic early. Because he is a very, very, very good player with that, and I'm excited to see what he can show us. So coming into the action right after this, it's going to be Tyloo actually picking up all the deagles, Alex. It's going to be a deco, Bintet keeping the Glock and the flashbang over on Hellraisers, mix and match buy between the rifles, 1 SMG in play.
Yeah, with the bomb plant on the pistol round, Tyloo can afford some investment. It's not gone well for them at the start of this one, though, as Angel rips off a second head, and it is looking as though Hellraisers are going to clean up this mid control. And something we saw Hellraisers do against Gambit is go for this mid aggression. Even on the CT side, in a couple of rounds, Hellraisers were willing to push down mid, which is rather uncommon as a CT team. You run the risk of being picked by the opposite AWPer, but if you can choose the right rounds to do it, it can work. And here is Hobbit lining them up and securing the second round win for Hellraisers. Tyloo would have liked to do a little bit of damage there, though. It's a shame for them they don't get a single kill with that investment.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go with the Kevlar, so I saved a little bit, but they were going for the headshots, didn't get any. And so coming into this, Tyloo definitely wants to try and pick up the gun round. And actually, interestingly, looking at the statistics brought to you by GG.bet, definitely favoring Hellraisers coming into this one. Just slightly, though. I feel like it will be close, and I think everyone understands it will be close. Coming into this, Hellraisers still keeping the MP9 in play, this time on Hobbit. Angel loves the SMGs. This one goes over towards long. And Tyloo can just begin to sort of slow the play down. Having 2 players posted up outside A long, wait for the players inside of the tunnels to come through and be ready to group up inside of the mid position. Generally want to try and take that short control. It gives you so many options to play with over the map.
And we had the desk talk about how those AWPs can be impactful on Dust 2. Well, in these first gun rounds with the new economy system, you don't really see those AWPs in these early rounds. So it's kind of a bit of an awkward one where you don't get to see the AWPs at the early stages. And Tyloo all stuck in towards short, a single flashbang being prepared, and they're just going to push towards A.
Oh, one of the failed flash that'll prevent the push from Tyloo. Counter flash perhaps from Woxic as he stands there with the M4. A4 only gets 1 kill, so it falls onto Angel to step up. Only one himself. Coming in with a flank is Hobbit. Able to pick up 1 kill. Should be able to find the follow-up. But it's not great at long range, so he has to switch to the sidearm. The trusty Deagle. And Issa will come in, help out that awkward exchange between Hobbit and Captain Mo. But 3-0, Hellraisers will take the lead in the first gun round here and leave Tyloo sort of scrambling for a little bit of cash here.
Yeah, Hobbit with a cheeky grin there. I think he knows it wasn't going well for him, but luckily Issa had his back, and he's happy to have his new teammates supporting him as Hellraisers get that strong start you were talking about. Again, the Deegs in hand for Tyloo. They can afford a minimal amount of investment, but these first few rounds haven't really been close. Again, that team flash definitely costed them, and here's that aggression I was talking about. Hobbit straight up mid, no respect style of play, but Captain Mo is able to get the trade. Still, the MP9's doing the damage, though. A 4-on-3 advantage.
Oh, nice shot from Captain Mo onto the head of Issa. That's going to keep it a 3 versus 3, even playing field. But Angel looks to try and change that fact as he pushes up towards short, finds the kill to execute, and that is the bomb dropped. So somebody and Captain Mo have the near impossible task of winning this. Headshot from Angel will connect on the head of Captain Mo, and somebody left into the 1 versus 3. He's going to pull himself away from long. Just searching for the frags. Of course, the bomb is up on short, so if he wants any chance of sort of picking that up, he's got to fight mid, and Warsick will not allow him to get anywhere near that. 4-0. Hellraisers looking pretty dominant at the beginning of the CT side, but again, you have to sort of, you can't really read into that too much because Tyloo haven't really had that money.
And here is the first full buy, the AWP in the hands of Excurate, so that is definitely a good start for them. Again, that could be an important factor, but the same is going to be said for Woxic. Both teams able to get snipers into round number 5, so that's definitely good for both teams, and we could see the fight in towards mid. Excurate not able to spot the cross. It's only Deadfox playing towards B, and again, Deadfox as that solo anchor could definitely have some problems. He's not necessarily known for his incredible individual skill. Generally, he's working off his teammates, so I do kind of wonder if him on that B site could be a potential weakness for Hellraisers, but somebody going to lead the charge.
Yeah, deep smoke coming in towards long. Somebody doesn't care. He's going to take the fight. Wins it, but Hobbit from the grave will find the frag back. Keeps it a 4 versus 4 as the trade comes through. Utility being used up inside the middle. That's a flashbang from Bintet. Well, a little bit of an extended peek from Captain Mo, but nothing will come off the back of it. Instead, they will try and pressure up towards the short position, try and feel out the defense there, try and get an idea of what's happening. Smoke for the cross comes in, but Tyloo aren't really in a position to capitalize off the back of it just yet. This is so scary though. Woxic with the barrel looking right towards short. The utility coming in. He's going to throw the counter Molotov and will actually fall back safely. So Tyloo really being delayed here by the counter utility of Hellraisers.
Nades being prepared. Again, Tyloo focusing fully on the mid control. They do run the risk of giving up other map areas, and I think Buntet's smoke just failed horribly. I'm not quite sure, but they will be moving in towards short. Again, a similar play to the previous round. Let's hope the flashes are good this time around. They're going to move up towards the bomb site itself. Woxic on the other side, not really too blind. They're still not pushing to the site. They don't have any nades left. This is not going to be easy as the shot lands, but no kill as of yet.
Yeah, Woxic sitting back towards long. He's able to find the head of Bintet as the push comes in. Woxic will connect another shot. AK's rattling through as Issa tries to tap for 2, but Woxic right to the box will nail the head of Captain Mo and send Tyloo to the grave once more. And 5-0 for Hellraisers. Definitely a dominant performance at the beginning of Dust 2 here. Tyloo can just float another buy here, but the problem is with X-Group buying an AWP, he's not going to have too much left in the bank, so it's going to be a bit of a weaker buy from Tyloo, but a buy nonetheless.
Yeah, still going to be able to buy into this one. The interesting thing here is that, again, Woxic's going to have that AWP on the CT side. Also, the fact that Deadfox has just not really been involved in the action over towards the B bomb site. He's literally got 1 kill, 0 deaths. So Tyloo consistently trying to push towards A, and in that previous round, they looked really tentative on the push, right? They go for the flashes. You're meant to push exactly as those flashes pop, but they took a little bit more time. That allowed Hellraisers to set themselves up, and it was a real problem there for Tyloo. They just get shut down.
Yeah, Hobbit, he's on the opposite end of this. Somebody wins the duel there this time. He won it again the last, but Hobbit had thrown a Molotov, so it neutralized that. So Woxic is now torn between 2 positions. He has to look towards short. He has long to worry about. Luckily, he has a teammate on the A bomb site to help him. But Tyloo definitely with the advantage here, thanks to somebody finding that opening engagement towards long.
Yeah, both those players are generally quite aggressive as well. Somebody generally gets the most entries, and again, he's doing it. Insta headshot, snaps onto the head of Angel. Woxic eventually here for the refrag, but he is going to be put under pressure.
Yeah, coming towards short, multiple players, 4 in fact, and Woxic, he's missing shots, not landing them, and that will warrant the bomb plant. Great kill coming in, but Captain Mo able to take him towards long, puts Deadfox and Issa into a 2 versus 3 as Captain Mo waits for a player to come into this area. Deadfox, we kind of spoke about him in the last few runs, you know, hasn't really had too much action, but I think this one may just be some action he wants to avoid because it's near impossible here. And again, that just comes down to somebody finding that opening kill against Hobbit towards long. I mean, that opens up that long position, kind of pulls the defense away from the A-bomb site, and Woxic's kind of forced to play a little bit more passive on the A-bomb site, giving so much space for Tyloo to work with, and finally able to make it work, but this is expensive.
Yeah, that's actually really valuable for Dead Fox there. Not only does he save his M4, he gets to actually upgrade it to an AK, but also does a little bit of damage to Tyloo, who definitely haven't built their money as of yet. And we seem to have a floating football, Dinko.
Yeah, I didn't notice the Valve logo on the ball before.
Ooh. Spicy.
Yeah, that's why I love this guy. I love Starlighters, the way they find little weird and cool things, details a lot of people don't know about. So, yeah, coming into this, you know, Woxic has been firing all cylinders when it hasn't really been forced off the angles. And so that's a good sign for Hellraisers. Again, Hobbit kind of losing that duel too often towards long, so perhaps they need to adapt towards that side of the map. But other than that, Hellraisers have looked pretty solid. And coming in again, like you said, they have got the buy through, they've still got the money. And Tyloo, their economy is on the verge of breaking again. This is what we like to call a swing round.
Yeah, both AWPers had the highest rating on their team in that first game of the day, and Woxic is saved by Issa. He could have been in trouble there, but the man up close gets the headshot, and Angel looks for one of his own. The mid control here for Hellraisers. That's something Tyloo have focused heavily on, so a bit of a reaction from Hellraisers. They stack towards mid and win the opening trades.
Yeah, Dead Fox, here comes the action towards the B-bomb site. Long and awkward spray is eliminated by DD. Woxic able to find at least a trade kills. Issa pushing his way through. Accurate, quick double kill. Pulls it into a 1 versus 2. It's going to be a 1 versus 4 he has to win. He has to quad kill to win this for Tyloo. And it's so important that they are able to win this. Otherwise, their economy will be right back into that bin. So Hellraisers just waiting for the bomb plant. Accurate is looking to take another fight, but they're both towards this angle. They could line up for him as he switched out for the AK-47. As he feels more comfortable in this scenario. Without the information, it's kind of difficult to play that op. So getting close, not going for the bomb plant immediately, trying to filter some info, but Hobbit, lightning fast reactions, able to find the head of Excurate and give 6 to Hellraisers, putting the money from Tyloo back into the bin.
Yeah, and I was going to say that Excurate is one of the AWPers who's actually best in the clutches. He's won the most 1v2s and 1v3s for his team in the last 3 months. And that's not something you see often as an AWPer. He can really step up in those most important scenarios. And another thing that's slightly strange about Excurate's playstyle is oftentimes AWPers will try and go for those entries. But Excurate actually has one of the lower percentages of entry attempts on his team. So that's another interesting fact about his AWP style. It's very different, but it really can work well for Tyloo on the right occasion. Unfortunately, that time, Excurate was left with a little too much to do, and look at what that means for Tyloo's buy. They are broken once more.
You know, they want Eagle to work with into round number 8. This should be rather easy now for Hobbit to hold long. In fact, no one is going towards that position, so he will see no action. It's also a talking point that's been said a few times. Issa, you know, obviously up there with Woxic had an amazing major. Generally, those two players were the two players you look to, and most of the time, one of them steps up and the other one doesn't. And so, if Hellraisers can find a way of getting both of those players fragging at the same time, they're going to be a massive force to be reckoned with.
Or I think part of the idea of getting Hobbit into the team is maybe if Issa doesn't show up, Hobbit can definitely be a star-level player. We've seen that with Gambit. We've seen that with some of the major runs this team has had. Gambit had some incredible results there. So here we go, little run boost. Buntek going in first with the Glock. Counter flash already ready to be deployed, and Woxic will take these fights every day. Oh, no, misses those shots, but Angel here to assist. A little bit awkward, a headshot found, and the bomb plant will go down.
Yeah, Issa able to walk up towards short. DD has dropped somebody left into a 1 versus 3, and Issa is definitely here to play. Another kill coming through. He's got himself the double. The defuse will come in as well. And that's going to be Hellraisers again, 7-1. A really, really nice start from them. I think they will be pretty happy with the beginning of this map. Like earlier, we've seen a very solid CT half from Hellraisers. They ended up playing the game rather close, and a couple of runs from Gambit came through. Again, that kind of say that Hobbit had a bit of a slow start into that one, and you could maybe give that as the reasoning. But I feel like Hellraisers definitely look a lot more comfortable here than Tyloo.
Definitely seems to be on this map in particular. I will say that I think Tyloo are kind of in rocky waters here on Dust 2, as has been mentioned, but it could be smooth sailing for them into the future maps. Into Mirage, that's a map that Tyloo have always loved historically, and then Inferno is another map that has been strong for them. That's kind of in the 3 maps that you think of when you think of this Tyloo team. So they definitely will be looking forward to the future maps, but right now they're all focused on Dust 2. No AWP in hand, but they have got the full AKs into round 9, and they're going to need to start getting some round wins. Again, you can see on the map, Hobbit playing aggressive towards A long.
Yeah, sticking around this position, obviously feels comfortable there. I feel like even Tyloo, right? You know, they have went towards A. You pointed it hasn't really worked at all. And so I still think that they should keep doing the game plan that they have, because there's no point if it doesn't work, or you miss a smoke, or someone gets killed. There's no point in just switching up your whole game plan just because of a couple of mistakes or a couple of unlucky kills coming through. So Tyloo sticking to the game plan here, looking to take towards long. Those double smokes, that's going to prevent the vision. Isolate Hobbit here, he's going to have no help. He only gets one kill, somebody able to trade back, and Woxic under pressure, gets one, and instantly eliminated by Bintet. And Tyloo have full control of the A-bomb site after eliminating Angel.
And again, Dead Fox just has to rotate over. I mean, I think Dead Fox has just been sitting twiddling his thumbs on the B site. Tyloo just keep going towards A. They really seem to love that A bomb site. It's not working for them all of the rounds, but this time it pays off for them. Hobbit did a nice job at least delaying, but Woxic was still caught from 2 angles. That was the real problem there. Angel couldn't get to position in time, and Dead Fox is left saving.
I feel like Tyloo have definitely seen a weakness towards that long position, and so they're abusing it a little bit more, especially in the form of Hobbit, who hasn't really had that great start into this tournament yet, and also here he has been losing those opening engagements against somebody quite often. So I think they've sort of found there's a weakness towards long, and so isolating him with those double smokes, leaving him to try and fight against 1 versus 3, it's going to be so difficult for him to get anything done there. Of course he gets the 1 kill, and like you said, does a sufficient job of delaying, but ultimately he will fall pretty quickly after, and that will sort of weaken the space that Woxic has to play with. And so Tyloo, they definitely have sort of got a mindset towards long that they can kind of abuse that a little bit, and Hellraisers will have to adapt.
And that's the exact kind of thing that Tyloo would want to do, right? You're a new player into a team.
Yeah.
I don't think Dust 2 was played too often by Hobbit's previous team, so there's already a start there where he's not as used to the map. And then you get into the fact that he's got to know how to play with his teammate. Maybe he's used to being an AWPer being there to help him, right? So it's a whole new situation for Hobbit to have to adapt to, and he's trying his best, but not enough in some of these rounds. Still, Hellraisers with a convincing lead, and I wonder if we'll continue to see this B aggression from Hellraisers. In one of the previous rounds, Issa decided to push through B tunnels, and if Tyloo show a tendency not to put anyone towards B, that's when Hellraisers can push B tunnels, get the info, and try and capitalize.
Yeah, well, the AWP is in play for both players here in terms of Tyloo and Hellraisers. We've got Woxic on it as usual, and Excrete finally getting out in play. You know, the one time we've seen him have it, he opened up the B bomb site, really gave his team a chance, ultimately unable to win the clutch in the end. But he has come close. This time Hobbit up towards short, he has changed his position slightly, and they have sort of adapted, leaving long completely open. So Hellraisers have sort of seen this this plan coming in from Tyloo, and long is going to be left open, relying on Woxic to fight long range. And we've seen this earlier on Dust 2. We've seen Gambit sort of fall to the AWP of Woxic from this position. And Hobbit in a nice position from short. Flashbang comes in. He'll peek, take that frag, but does he expect Bintet to be here? No, but still takes the fight. Bintet will win it and should be traded back. But Bintet opening up short massively. Angel under a lot of pressure, having to fight towards long and short. And Bintet has just opened up A for Tyloo.
There's the Bintet we know and love, cracks open a couple of heads and finds his way towards the site. The bomb has been chucked across, but it's not really safe. Excurate still able to push forwards, and that leaves Bintet on just 23 HP to try and hold this one off. The smoke will do enough as Excurate tries to reposition. Again, a second smoke deployed. Issa going to be in trouble. He can't really push through this. He's got to wait for Dead Fox to make noise towards long.
Yeah, spamming through the smoke, desperately trying to find a player who was there. The sign Q did give a bit of a window of opportunity to perhaps find Bintet. Dead Fox, if he goes for the jump shot, you know, he's only 23 HP here, Bintet, so he could be dropped. Nice kill from Excurate, very quick on the trigger, and at this point, Issa, no kit to play with, no utility to get back into that bomb site. It's saving for you, and Excurate and Bintet, they will get themselves another round of the board for Tyloo, and really, the X factor there was Bintet. You know, up on short, hides, finds the kill on the Hobbit, follows up with one, and Excurate making more space for that AWP to give Tyloo 3.
Tyloo still haven't gone B. It's been...
No, the one round, they have went B once, right?
Oh, maybe they did. Maybe they did earlier.
Yeah, they ran into Dead Fox, and the one time that he had to face off that B, he made that long and awkward spray.
Yeah, there was that one round, I will give you that. But they're definitely favoring the A-bomb site, that's for sure. Issa, again, has saved the one AK, but the rest of the team are going to be talking this one through. It's actually Tyloo who take the pause, just to make sure they are 100% sure what they are going to do heading into this round, because this could end up being a bit of a swing round depending on what sort of money Hellraisers have. Again, though, Tyloo starting to find a little bit of success here on this map. The worry is that Hellraisers looked pretty damn good on the T side of Dust 2 earlier today. So the fact they're already getting onto a streak here, it's a really good start for Hellraisers, even if Tyloo are fighting back.
Yeah, you can really tell that Tyloo have been favoring that A bomb site by just looking at the statistics. You know, Hobbit's in on 10 kills, 11 on Woxic and Angel. They've been the A players. Issa having to rotate in from the sort of mid-ramp position. DevFox has been that B anchor. He's on 3 kills. Issa on 9. So obviously they have been favoring it. And Tyloo have been dropped quite a few times. They find some success, but not really enough to be too comfortable. And so Hellraisers, this would be really nice for them to win, obviously, but highly unlikely. So Tyloo, this should be a little bit of leg room to work with.
Bit of a B stack for Hellraisers. They've got the AK of Issa also holding up close towards mid doors. Quite an interesting position. I'd have thought you'd want to put the AK over towards B to take a longer range engagement, but they're happy for Issa to play up close and personal. And again, Tyloo a little tentative in this round, but they're eventually going for the mid control. And here we go, DD gets the opening kill. Oh, doesn't have his gun out, but somebody finds the trade. Hellraisers have pushed into tunnels, and another kill comes through.
Oh, X-Group very quick with the AWP, looks to follow up, gets overwhelmed by the pistols. Hobbit able to pick up 1, Captain O will spray for 2. But that got so messy. And what? Look at the amount of damage done from Hellraisers. They take 3 kills there, Alex.
That was a really frantic round. Yeah, Hellraisers push B tunnels just at the right time to try and get that flank through. Nearly works for them. However, we have to focus on the gun round at hand. Woxic again has that AWP. Generally, he's been going towards A long, and I definitely wouldn't advise him to peek down mid, but maybe a boost in towards short wouldn't be a bad idea. As for Xcurate on the T side, he's going to go over towards A long, and Angel is ready for a flash. It doesn't quite land, but Xcurate goes off the angle. It's somebody to run in first. Xcurate is able to get the trade, and a bit of a team nade from the fallen comrade of Angel. However, it's just a even trade to start the round into a 4-on-4 position, an even numbers game.
Yeah, Xcurate very quick with those peaks for AWP. Utility being used up inside of the B bomb site, and Tyloo have actually got the bomb position towards this side of the map, so perhaps the final call will be to hit that B bomb site. Although having short control leaves them with so many options into the late game. With still 1 minute and 10 seconds left, they have plenty of time to make an informed decision. The only problem I would say is they're starting to run out of utility. I mean, they only have 1 flashbang left. They have a couple of smokes, Molotov in play. Angel using the crossfire from the window, but has just turned his back at the wrong time. They're going to run into the B bomb site. It's a complete fake, and Issa, he's going to spawn on Captain Mo, doubles up, and could get himself a triple. But he will get 2. DevFox able to eliminate the tunnels player and Bentet the last player alive. Angel has an inkling that he could be here. There's no real other place he could be, and Angel, they have the advantage. They have 2-man advantage, no need to give him a series of 1 versus 1s, so we'll just sit back inside of CT, we'll take the fight. Bentet wins it, just about though, dropped to 9 HP, so 1 bullet will do it, and that might just be the bullet to impale him, as Woxic with AWP from the top of mid gives Hellraisers 8 on the board, and already confirming themselves a bit of a lead moving into that second half, where we said their T-side was excellent.
Yeah, it definitely was a really good T side for them previously. Obviously, we're yet to see if that can come through here, as we are yet to get into the second half. But strong signs to start this series for Hellraisers on their own map pick, obviously. That's the one caveat we have to throw in there. And Woxic, in this round, it's okay to peek mid, because you know it's unlikely the opponents will have a sniper. Xcurate push through the molly. They might not expect him to be here. Issa caught with his knife out. That's not the best start for him. Xcurate, 1 bullet left in the clip. He's going to try and do what he can. He's actually got 3, but he goes for the reload. DevFox still here behind the box. This is so awkward. Xcurate finding an angle, but not finding a frag into a 2-on-3 as Angel gives away his life.
Woxic going to try and peek towards middle spots. Utility being used up inside of the door. That's somebody charging up towards the short position. Has the help of Captain Mo coming in from long, but Woxic, and here's the footsteps. He's going to throw a flashbang, but he's going to get doubled up on. There's the headshot from Captain Mo. The CZ, the trusty sidearm, finding the headshot on the upper of Hellraisers, and now DevFox, he's left into a 1 versus 2. Hasn't really had the greatest start into this game just yet, and we'll look to try and change that with this clutch coming in. Noise being made. It's going to call his position quite evidently towards Tyloo. They're going to peek him, running over the top of the wall. Somebody in Captain Mo will overwhelm him. The kill comes in. and Tyloo will get themselves another round on the board. And yeah, DevFox definitely hasn't had the greatest start on this map.
Yeah, I mean, he's been okay when called upon. It's just that he's not really been involved in the action. Again, I keep saying, over towards B, he's oftentimes the rotator. He's sometimes left in bad positions, or his teammates win over towards A. So he's not had to do too much. But how about Tyloo's performance? They've definitely turned it around, Dinko.
Yeah,
how are you feeling about your prediction? I mean, it was a slow start, but seems like it could work.
No, I feel like Tyloo definitely stand a huge chance in this one. Hellraisers definitely looked a little bit shaky against Gambit. Didn't look like clean and clinical, but ultimately were able to extract the win. Coming into this though, Hellraisers, they've got the scout in play on Woxic. Definitely a very proficient player with that. Got the CZs and 5.7s in play as well, along with a couple of P250s. So Hellraisers definitely stand a chance of doing damage here. And it's kind of important because Tyloo really haven't had much time to build up that economy. So a couple of kills, a couple of rebuys coming in, they'll definitely start to see the impact in their economy. Interestingly, it's Captain Mo on the AWP, Alex. We didn't really talk about that. Excret has been the man who's been picking it up, obviously, being the star opera of the team.
Ooh, Hellraisers moving towards A. Those smokes could make things awkward for Tyloo, but there's a gap, and Buntet takes advantage of that. Second entry found. Again, smokes all over the place, and the trades keep coming. It's into a 2v2, and Hellraisers have a chance.
Yeah, somebody has to come in and make this work. He cleans up as he picks up 2 kills. It's 6-8, last round of the half coming up here, and Tyloo definitely may have just been able to pull this back and make it as close as possible. If they get 7 here, then that is really respectable, considering the start that they were under. Hellraisers, they haven't really got that much money to work after the force blind to the last, so it's going to be pistols again, Alex, and they're even missing the scout this time, so it's arguably worse than their previous buy. And Tyloo definitely looking strong here. Somebody and Captain Mo picking up the ops, double up setup coming in, and one of them isn't Excure. That is so interesting. I assume it's spawn-based.
Yeah, somebody has this good spawn and he gets the flick. I think he was full blind there, but he finds the opening frag. And look at DD go. The timing is everything. Angel caught off guard. That is DD, or rather Excurate, helping him out to open up the A side of the map. And this round is almost over already with only 2 players left.
Yeah, I feel like Tyloo have opened up the engines. The afterburners are going. They are feeling much more comfortable. You can see from this, they're in that sort of chaotic, fast-paced play. The individual starting to show up. Hobbit gets 1, but gets tapped from behind by Excurate with the AK. And it's 8-7. You know, Hellraisers is still taking the lead coming into the second half, but Tyloo able to pull that back from somewhat of a deficit towards the beginning of Dust 2.
Yeah, and Woxic not necessarily taking over the game, but he's definitely done his bit. He's had a couple of important rounds. Again, wasn't always able to get the AWP in this matchup, but when he's had it, he's generally done a decent enough job. Obviously, Woxic is generally the superstar player of this team, but even now, he's still having a solid, consistent performance, which is good to see.
Yeah, Hobbit is actually playing pretty well as well. I mean, obviously he was isolated earlier in the game, perhaps. You know, he doesn't feel comfortable in his role in the team just yet. And so finding a player who's new to the team, you know, if you isolate him by throwing a couple of smokes, make him take a disadvantageous fight, then you can definitely win that fight quite often. So Hobbit has done a sufficient job. He's got 14 and 11, so definitely looking pretty strong. Obviously had a very, very weak first map today. So I'm looking forward to see if Hellraisers can answer back coming into the second half, or will Tyloo continue the form that they were able to grab towards the latter stages of the first half?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see Hellraiser's T side again. We said it was great against Gambit. Is that because Gambit aren't necessarily as well prepared, or is it because Hellraisers have an excellent T side? I guess we're about to find out. 2 sets of nades here for the T side of things. P250s alongside those nades, so it's only a single smoke and flash, and somebody just gets picked towards mid. Excurate also taking some damage. This is dangerous.
Shots coming in. Excurate able to find the head of Woxic. Issa doubles up. And Bintet, there's 2 headshots. Easy collection for him, and since you have 3 versus 2, man advantage there for Tyloo to work with.
It's the P250s left in play. DeadFox is making noise. Captain Mo has to be aware of his position. Again, they've got a flash and a smoke to play with, and Captain Mo peeking towards mid. This timing could be awkward, but he's able to fall back. That leaves the B site somewhat vulnerable. A CT smoke could really be devastating, but Mo is able to cross over towards the B side of things. And again, Hellraisers just have to decide where they want to push. They're looking in towards short, a single flash, and here we go.
I mean, A should be pretty easy here for Hellraisers to at least get the bomb plan confirmed, which will be extra $800 for the rest of the team. Although winning this is going to be a little bit more difficult. deadfox has to cover DD with an instant headshot. All on the Angel, and DD, incredible aim. Sniper with the USP. And that will be it on the board for Tyloo. They win the pistol coming into the second half, and that is bad news for Hellraisers.
Yeah, that was clinical from DD. Nice way to close out the round win. Tyloo keep their sort of streak of good form going into the second half. And it's always interesting to see exactly what the buys look like in the second round. And Woxic has bought a scout. Are the rest of the team going to invest around that? Yes, they are. I said that this is something that could maybe come through on Dust 2. You have that scout trying to get the opening towards mid doors. Maybe that gives you a bit of a better option. They've even got an AK into the hands of Angel. So it's a risk, but it's a force buy that could maybe work. And unfortunately for Woxic, no opening kill on this occasion.
So Tyloo, definitely this could be very close indeed. You know, the money, not really much of a difference in terms of buys. Somebody in Hobbit juking the knight again towards the long position, this time on opposite side. Somebody looks to get aggressive, proactive on the CT side. You know, there really isn't much of a reason for him to go any further than this door though. Staying behind that, he'll gather info in terms of footsteps. Hobbit will be shift walking away, so he won't hear these falling back inside the middle, so is completely unaware that it's safe to walk in towards long. But Hellraisers look to just try and take this short position. Somebody standing instead towards long just for now, but if he is to leave that position and come in from behind, this could be devastating for Hellraisers, so they need to be careful that this possibility is watched. And it seems like Woxic has the idea. He's going to be looking from behind. So the play will be coming in towards the A site. Bentet is there along with Captain Mo, ready with a flashbang, and the push just seconds away.
Here we go. When will that counter flash be deployed? Not in time because Buntet is already gone. Captain Mo alone with an MP9. This is not easy. Dink down, gets a second, nearly a third, but Angel eventually does the damage necessary, and it's still going the way of Tyloo. Captain Mo does enough as Angel is stuck on the bomb site. It's not even easy to get the plant here. They're just going to push towards him. No chance for Angel. He is overwhelmed, and Tyloo take back the lead. This is quite a shock right now. They're not necessarily known for their Dust 2, but they are proving that they can play this map.
Yeah, I always felt like Tyloo had the individuals, and obviously that T side, sometimes they can lack a little bit of structure with the communication that's needed, you know. So finding enough there, getting in 7, and then coming into the second half on the CT side, finding the pistol and the follow-up, and this is definitely looking very strong for Tyloo. Hellraisers under a lot of pressure here. They have left a little bit of money left in the bank, obviously, with the only few deagles coming through, so they can do some damage here, but the next round is what we're worried about. Should be 9 to, it should be 10 to 8 here, and then obviously with the buy coming in from Hellraisers in the next one, that's where things get spicy, but somebody, a lot of players coming towards this position, lines one up, and Temp will come in, able to triple, looks for the quad, as Hobbit is the last player alive, dancing with death, and Bentet will give him that, so 10 to 8. Tyloo have reached double figures, so definitely looking solid from the Asian side.
Yeah, basically what we were expecting into that round, nothing too crazy. One point I would like to make, though, is the fact that not only is Woxic up there in terms of frags, but he also has the most enemies flashed in the game right now. He's up there at 18 enemies flashed, so he's kind of doing it all for his team. I think most of those are from the CT side especially, but still kind of helping out with the utility side of things. And both these teams generally are okay statistically with their nades. Not up there at the top, but they do play that kind of scrimmy style where those flashes can come through. As Execute trying to force this entry, this is a little bit scary. We'll see if Issa peaks.
Yeah, Execute just waiting for his opportunity. Doesn't take the bait. Issa was trying to just show a little bit of his body, hoping he could bait on a shot from Execute. The only caveat here for Hellraisers is to have a player waiting. That's Hobbit. He'll hop up on top of the Xbox, able to find Execute and give themselves the advantage here for Hellraisers. That Molotov, that'll prevent anybody from coming up and assisting, and somebody doing an excellent job at holding towards short. Able to connect on a Hobbit and gives the 4 versus 4.
Somebody still alone towards the A site. This AWP is going to have problems, clearly. He's dead. He's not able to win that fight towards mid, but it doesn't really matter. The A site is already gone, and Hellraisers have got a molly. That could slow down this retake even more. Tyloo trying to push from short. Woxic just going to fight them, and it's a one-tap from Woxic. Beautifully done, and the bomb's still not being planted. Hellraisers playing it safe.
Yeah, this is much better from Hellraisers. You know, that opening from Hobbit up towards the Xbox. Execute look to bring pain onto them, but not to happen. Woxic and Dead Fox, they'll collect the final 2 frags. And it is 10-9. Hellraisers able to answer back with a gun run of their own. And I'm actually looking forward to see if Hellraisers can pick up a few more here. They definitely are in a position to do so, but if they are to lose this, then their economy will be gone again. I feel like resets in the T side are much less impactful, though.
Excurate's finally got the AWP. We've seen a few different Tyloo players pick it up. It is another double AWP setup for the CT side of things. Excurate's going to be holding towards mid, whereas Captain Mo goes towards A with his sniper. Definitely an option on Dust 2, but you can already see that Hellraisers more so looking towards the B side of the map, sitting in towards tunnels. With this much utility, you're unlikely to be able to use all these nades towards B. Obviously, that skybox makes it difficult to go for full executes, so it could just be a quick contact play, especially with Angel pushing towards mid, and oh no, what a molly.
That's a great Molotov. That's going to force him right into the crosshair of Hobbit, who once again opens things up for Hellraisers. Execute having to hold the back lines towards B, but Dead Fox, he will eliminate him and disallow any chance for some Execute to make the difference, and Hobbit holding the flank. Somebody desperately trying to get back in and actually wins the fight long range against the AK. So Hobbit is dropped, and it's a 3 versus 3. 2 UMPs and an AWP to work with coming into this bomb site again. Dead Fox, Issa, and Angel, definitely not players that are easy to take down, especially with Angel already being inside of the tunnel. Somebody might not expect this.
Yeah, in comes the headshot from behind, and this B site is notoriously difficult to retake. Even in a 3-on-3, it's questionable as to whether you can win it. And in a 2-on-3, it's basically completely out of the question. Yeah. Buntet looking to save just a UMP. Might try and find an upgrade, but it doesn't seem too likely. And with the rest of the Tyloo team not necessarily having the money, this one looks like it could start to go the distance, or even in favor of Hellraisers. It's a 10-10 scoreline. Again, we've had quite a few close games today. Looks like this map is going to follow.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a very volatile game, you know. Momentum can shift very quickly between the two teams. Hellraisers, yes, they have the great start, but then Tyloo randomly come back into the game with sort of their individuals beginning to wake up and making space on that T side. Coming into the CT side, they win the pistol, they're able to make that work, and then the follow-ups come in. And so Hellraisers definitely looking pretty solid after picking up some momentum once more. Oh! That's a great kill from Woxic, perhaps expecting the boost, and Captain Mo is eliminated. DD finds 1 kill with a CZ, and it's into a 4 versus 4.
Something that's kind of interesting about Hellraisers is in the last 3 months, they have quite a low percentage of winning when they have the man advantage. They're actually one of the worst teams for winning rounds when they've got the man lead, and that's kind of already being shown here. They lose a couple of fights. It seems like it's going their way, though, as, ooh, Woxic ends up getting taken out of the action. Somebody gets the AWP. I think the round is already gone. However, somebody looks for a little bit more. Issa must be hearing these steps. You can see the communication coming in. Players are starting to push around. And somebody's still looking to hold the angle, but it's not going to work for him. Issa denies any sort of save. And Hellraisers are starting to build that bank.
Yeah, Hellraisers beginning to build the bank and the momentum, which again is a really, really essential part of having that on your T side. You want to be able to sort of dictate the pace, try and play your own game. Tyloo, here comes another buy. It's missing the pieces that we like to talk about, which is the ops on Excurate. We've seen the double op come through with him and Captain Mo. And so 11-10, Hellraisers having the 1-round lead. But Tyloo have the rifles here to try and cause problems. Hobbit running right through long immediately. A lot of presence here from Tyloo. In fact, 4 players are towards the long position. Hobbit will dispatch with one of them. That's somebody. And perhaps that's a little bit of false hope as Tyloo, again, are looking strong towards his long position as Issa is dropped and Hobbit will fall back.
So Hellraisers just sit back into a default. Yep. Again, they got the opening pick. They saw the presence towards long, and because of that, they move back over towards B, where DD is alone. This molly spells his death. He's burning, and he will go down. No rotation towards the B bomb site in time, and the smokes could allow an easy cross to this site. Again, very difficult to retake B, especially with Hellraisers having this utility. They're able to lock Tyloo out. The one advantage is this bomb is taking a lot of time to get to the site, and Hobbit goes down. That gives them a chance.
Yeah, Woxic and Angel having to win a 2 versus 3 here. The bomb is not planted for Hellraisers, so there's a problem here. Nice kill from Captain Mo. Back into the bomb site he goes. Woxic underneath the window. Excrit finds the kill. And it's Hellraisers falling here to Tyloo's weakened by. Really interesting start to the round though, Alex. You know, putting 4 players towards long, leaving 1 in B.
Yeah, it's definitely a point of contention, A-Long.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen in the recent meta, right? In this new Dust 2, oftentimes that A-Long position is always hotly contested, but 4 players might be a bit much, considering what we've seen in this game up until this point.
Yeah.
Still works for Tyloo, though. They get the round win on the board.
I feel like the sort of Hobbit finding that kill, that smoke was really important because Hobbit finds the kill, doesn't have the information of how many players are actually there from Tyloo, and so finding that kill gives a little bit of false hope to Hellraisers, thinking they've won the initial battle. In fact, that's a great opening. Again, Woxic opening things up towards mid for Hellraisers, consistently finding the kill towards those middle doors.
Yeah, Woxic is one of the players that definitely gets a lot of the entry work done for Hellraisers. Obviously, AWPers in general are good at winning those opening fights, but Woxic is one of the best players on the team. He wins 57% of his opening fights when he takes them, so that's always nice. Generally, that's because the AWP will be set up in a really good way to get that opening pick, and that's exactly what we see come through. Let's see how Hellraisers decide to look forwards into this round. They've got the man lead, and with that advantage, they're just going to let Tyloo stew on the fact they're a man down. They're just going to sit back and relax.
Yeah, this will cause Tyloo to get a little bit more proactive, try and find that trade back, try and find the information so they can adapt accordingly. Captain will flashbang himself in towards short, will spot no one, but has got a bit of a sign cue. They know some players will be positioned towards that area, and so they trade positions up towards short. Captain Mo will line whip behind the corner. Angel will pre-fire it, but Captain Mo luckily hiding behind the wall. Tough comes in. I think Angel just seen his arm, so he notices a player close here. Bintet is pretty close to trade, along with somebody who's stuck on the side. Barrel comes and shows a little bit at the flashbang, comes in. It's still mid here towards short, and Captain Mo is going to take so much damage on board. That's going to force him away from the position. Awkward exchanges on short, but I feel like Hellraisers come out on top of that battle and will continue to fight towards middle. Bintet lining up one, does damage onto Issa. Excrit gets aggressive into B, able to pick up 1 kill, but needs to be careful not to fall. And it's into a 3 versus 3. Excrit goes for a little bit more. That missed shot, that's going to cause problems as B is under so much pressure here from Hellraisers, but the time, it's ticking. They need to get that bomb down right now.
Yeah, the bomb will be planted, but it's in a 2-on-2. Somebody with a wild spray through the smoke, unable to connect all that much. A second smoke deployed as somebody comes in from the side. Not able to really do the damage, but he's drawing a lot of attention. And yet still Hobbit aware at tunnels, gets the opening, and it's up to somebody to see what he can do. He's going to go through the smoke, gets the headshot, but Hobbit is there for an instant trade. No chance to get both of those kills. Hellraisers play it exactly how they needed to. They knew where somebody was. They close out the round win. And again, this game just keeps on going. It's so close.
Yeah, technical pause coming in. I feel like at this point, Hellraisers definitely still on the driving seat. I think Tyloo, they had that little bit of a chance where they were starting to pick things up, and perhaps they are out of their comfort zone on this. We didn't really have too much to go on in terms of statistics or how much this team's actually played at a significant level, and so we couldn't really read too much into how comfortable they'll be on this map. I think it's pretty evident they are a little bit out of their depth here. I think obviously they were starting to run out of ideas on the T side. They had a good start coming in towards the CT half, but it's kind of dropped off here. I think they're going to rely a lot on those individuals.
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, both teams definitely have individuals to work with. Obviously, Angel historically has been a very loose in-game leader. He's kind of let his players have some freedom, and he also doesn't exactly say you have to play here, right? He's willing to let you make some individual plays, and I think in part that's just because Angel is quite good individually himself, or at least he has been in the past. His stats have maybe struggled a bit recently, but when you've got so many skilled players on a roster, it makes sense to loosen things up. Bit of a slow smoke towards mid. Woxic trying to find a gap. Again, trying to find that opening. Not going to happen on this time around. But look at this force buy for Tyloo. It's not quite now or never, but it's really close to that point.
Yeah, they're just scrapping anything they could possibly get into these rounds. And that's so
Woxic's so confused.
Yeah, well, this is what you got to expect from Tyloo, though. They're just hyper aggressive. You know, on both sides. You know, on the T side, they'll just run right through short, try and get up into the A bomb site, run right through tunnels. On the CT side, you can really never predict where they're going to be. You just got to be ready for everything. And I feel like a very standard default is definitely a nice approach for Hellraisers to bring to this, because they are going to be gifted those opening kills and advantages due to the lack of weapons that Tyloo have to play with. That's a nice kill, though.
Woxic again there for the trade. Xcurate should be gifted a frag here. deadfox gives away his position. What is happening? Xcurate eventually finds the spray down. I think you can tell he's normally an AWPer. That was not a comfortable spray, but he gets the kill in the end, and Xcurate might go for a little bit more. Woxic is alone towards short. He switched out to the AK because of that fact, and with 39 seconds left, Tyloo seemed to be aware this is an A play.
Woxic looks to take a bit of a fight, yeah, but stuck in between two players. Xcurate walks right through the smoke. Headshot, eliminating him quickly. And Hobbit and Issa have to win the 2 versus 2. 23 seconds left on that clock to get the bomb down. And that Molotov, that causes problems because it wastes even more time. But Issa will be granted the bomb plant, at least. And Hobbit has to play from the pit. Here's the footsteps coming towards him. Has the angle, hops up, takes the kill. Captain Mo will be dropped. And the 7 HP of Xcurate is all they have to work with. Oh my god, I thought he would have fallen there, but immediately hits the shot. Now with a chance, he runs back towards the site. But Hobbit plays it perfectly, hides behind the wall. And Xcurate is eliminated, but that is such a fast flick.
Xcurate has this uncanny ability to make any clutch seem possible. I don't know how he does it. He should instantly be dead there, but he matrix dodges the bullets out of nowhere, gets the shot himself. He makes it way closer than it ever should have been, but close is not good enough for Tyloo at this point of the game. They are going to be forced down to a full eco. I mean, if there was any time to win a full eco, this would be it. But it doesn't seem too likely considering they've only invested $900 through the entirety of the team, and we can start to see Angel take advantage of that.
Yeah, finding the frags immediately. DD able to find Angel. DD doubles up with a P250 and puts it into a 3 versus 3. So much damage done onto somebody. Headshot comes in from Woxic. And at this point, you know, Tyloo trying to wrap their way back from the spawn. Hellraisers trying to wrap their way back from the spawn, come over towards the B bomb site, just gathering their troops, congregating towards one area of the map. And I feel like that's where they have the advantage. You know, somebody, the only player with a viable weapon, he's 11 HP. And Bintet, you know, he should just be easy pickings here for Hellraisers. So they gather themselves up inside of B, going to force Tyloo to try and retake this, but deadfox is going to pick up an easy kill. And Bintet left in a 1 versus 3. The best you can hope here is maybe a couple of kills or just try and save that weapon.
I was going to say, if we play this round out 1,000 times from this position, I'm not sure Bintet even wins one of them. It's just so difficult to do anything from this point. Maybe once he gets the AK, you give him like a slight chance. Maybe if Hellraiser's keyboards all disconnect at the same time, he could maybe win it then, but they would still have their mouse. They could still shoot him. Who knows? It's definitely the round with the Hellraisers this time, though. And again, Tyloo have taken this close. The thing is, I don't think they'll be too worried if they end up losing this map. I think, considering we've got Mirage and Inferno, Tyloo can get away with a close loss here, and they can almost take that as a positive. Like, hey guys, we took them close on their map. We've got this.
Yeah, it's still not over yet as well. You got to remember this. It's not over until it's 16 rounds for one team. And so Tyloo, they've... What
if it's overtime, Dinka?
Well, yeah, it's true, but we're talking regulation time, all right?
I was just being a dick.
Yeah. Anyway, so, I mean, Tyloo, definitely, we've seen them turn it around. You know, that first half, everything was looking down and out for them. Hellraisers looked so solid. They had that really strong start coming into this game. We thought, Tyloo, okay, this is definitely going to be an easy blowout. But they were able to make it work in that first half and pull all the way back. So, still a chance here. Woxic has not been granted that opening kill inside of the mid doors just this time. So, with an opening kill coming in from E, so that's Captain Mo gone early. Somebody trying to play with the smokes towards the long position as they run towards him. Sprays, picks up only one. A deadfox quick on the trigger. He's able to follow up. And they've got a 2-man advantage here, Hellraisers, to work with.
What do you do if you're Tyloo right now? Maybe it's worth taking a risk. Maybe it's worth stacking 2 players to a site. You're at such a big disadvantage. I mean, are you really going to be able to solo hold the site versus 4 players? It seems unlikely, but it's what Tyloo are going to try and risk pulling off at this point. DD's going to get aggressive towards B tunnels. He's getting the information. Xcurate will be aware that the push is about to come in towards him. But again, there's 4 players coming his way. What can Xcurate really do?
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult in this position, especially since they're coming up on top of short. There's no one from the long position, so this is going to be very difficult indeed. Woxic dropping DD. It's all on the Xcurate. A 1 versus 4. No spray for the first. They now know exactly where he is, and so that makes things even more difficult. So we'll rotate back towards the mid doors. Issa has that angle. So Hellraisers looking to take map point. And Tyloo, your money will be gone. So it's most likely Hellraisers will take this map. Actually looking to fight inside the mid. Issa will eliminate him. Things are definitely looking good for Hellraisers. The buy here from Tyloo, they will get one through, but it's going to be a mixed bag. You're going to get a couple of UMPs in play, scouts in play, a few for masses. So not going to be great, but Hellraisers looking to try and take this 16-11, Alex.
And again, we talked about it earlier. We'll talk about it again. Hellraiser's T side looks solid on Dust 2. That seems to be where they're getting most of their work done. And that's kind of a scary prospect for some of the other teams. I don't think many teams have really taken to Dust 2. I don't think too many teams have really mastered this map. So the fact that Hellraisers are starting to show promising signs on their T side, that shows that the preparation is really there. And look at this aggression. Angel creeping in towards B. It's just a contact play, but now the nades come through. DD looking for more, gets a second. Eventually he's dealt with, but it's a good start.
Yeah, 3 versus 4. Advantage there for Tyloo coming into this one. DevFox for the AWP. Looks to try and enter back into the bomb site. Bentet sitting on the car, has the crossfire. DevFox hops up, gets dropped. Issa able to reply quickly with a headshot. And Issa Woxic. This is going to be very difficult, but that Molotov, that's going to prevent them from coming in through the window. So Woxic going to hop in underneath. A little bit of control of the bomb site now as he's got this advanced position. And just waiting for that bomb plant to go down perhaps, or wait for somebody to get in position towards the tunnels. Again, Tyloo have got that advantage to work with. Woxic has the angle towards the tunnels. The Molotov again is going to deploy towards the window. Somebody is baited out by, and Woxic able to double up. The bomb plant has to come in, but Excrete running into the bomb site on his own towards the doors. A 1 versus 2, it's going to be difficult. A one tap from Issa. It's 16-11, and Hellraisers edge it out.
Close map. Even at the end there, Tyloo had all the information. They were pushed out through A. They thought they had the round under wraps, but Hellraisers fight back with those individuals. Again, Woxic definitely performing up there at the top of the board, but it was kind of a team effort for Hellraisers. Everyone did their bit. Even DeadFox, who was the lowest fragger, also didn't have many deaths because he wasn't involved as much on the CT side. So I think they almost all ended positive there, and towards the end of that game especially, that's when Hellraisers showed up, when they really needed to.
Yeah, Hellraisers with the map pick going their way, although signs of life from Tyloo, which is positive thinking for the next couple coming into this. Of course, that was Hellraiser's map pick, so you can take a little bit from it in terms of what Tyloo were able to do. Obviously, a really solid start from Hellraisers on the first half on their CT side. Tyloo were able to pull it back with the individuals, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of what Tyloo can do.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I'm also really liking seeing somebody, he's just been unleashed, right? He was really aggressive. He's been their best player statistically throughout their last tournament. I think in the first game of the day, Excrete maybe outfragged him, but somebody had a lot of impact. And I really think that's the important thing, right? If you're getting some of those entry kills, those are the most important frags. Somebody's doing a lot of that with his aggressive play. And what doesn't show up on the stats is the amount of space he makes for his team. So he's definitely doing a lot.
Yeah, I feel like somebody has been taking a lot of those major choke points. You know, we've seen him on Dust 2 taking that fight towards Long initially against Hobbit. He started to source a weakness there, and you could see that Tyloo were adapting to that weakness, isolating that player.
Well, I think we have got the analyst to break this one down, so Banks, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, guys. Hellraisers get it done, but it wasn't that easy if all things are considered. Tyloo certainly put up a fight, right, guys? They looked strong out the gate. They certainly came back into that first half to really make it competitive, and especially towards the start of the second half. But Hellraisers, they came and did what they expected. And what I think is most impressive is we now see Hobbit do actually manage to deliver this time. So maybe it was just playing against Gambit. He was like, my old teammates, I'm just going to let it hang, just going to sit there.
I mean, I talked to Hobbit in the elevator. We just met by chance, and he told me like he was a little bit stressed going up against Gambit. There has to be some psychology to it, you know. You play against your own teammates. He was feeling a little bit of the pressure. Now he played better. But I think what is very interesting, and it is my question is how Hellraisers is going to use Hobbit, right? Because we know that he's a player that can be very capable, and it seems to me that they're going to give him a lot of freedom. It has good side, bad side. The bad side is a lot of responsibility for him, and we saw Tyloo abusing him on Long a little bit on that first half, because he was all alone, and it felt to me like no one was really helping him. It was like, Hobbit, we trust you to keep Long, no flash for you, just do your best.
And he's like, oh God, there's got all these Chinese players and Indonesian players running at me, popping heads, and he's like, I can try and get 1 or 2, but he did hold his own in the end, right? That's the main thing.
And I think also on the attacker side, I mean, on T side, he had a lot of freedom when they would take Long, leave him alone on Long.
Yeah.
You know, so they did give him a lot of freedom. That's a lot of responsibility. But if he steps up to it, then he could be a really big plus for Hellraisers.
Yeah, everybody else on the Hellraisers side doing their jobs though. I mean, Woxic, no surprise, really popping off there with the AWPs. What was interesting actually, just towards the end, you got to highlight their B plays quite a lot. They had very nice utility usage over there. They kept a lot of Molotovs. They were Molotoving the back of the bomb site, then going for the close left corner, then going for window, smoking the cross and going in with a couple of flashes. It was really nice, and you could see that Tyloo really struggled to keep that B control towards the start of it.
Yeah.
As well, when you started things off, you had a really strong lead for HR, and it was starting to get a bit worrisome. It was looking like a really one-sided game. Then Tyloo went around. Maybe there's some hope. Reset straight away. It was looking like HR were going to walk away with that game, but it didn't happen. You know, Tyloo were able to come back into it and keep spirits high. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't enough.
I agree with your comment about the B side. I think overall, Hellraisers were having too much. It was too easy for them to get a bomb site on the second half, right? Because if you look at the global aspect of the map, Tyloo were very aggressive. You know, they were taking all the information. You could see on all these retakes, someone was always in the back of them. Would it be from long to the A side, from B to the tunnel? So they were very aggressive. They had all the information, but the problem was just defending the bomb site wasn't enough. Hellraisers were always having. It was too easy for them to get on the bomb site, and then you know how it is. If you get the B bomb site, for example, in a 3v3, that's T side all day, all day, every day.
That, to me, honestly, the B-bomb site is the hardest site to retake on any CS map at the moment, because once you've got a few Ts in there, unless you've got barrels of utility or just going to try bum rush them with complete outnumber them, you are not getting back in that site.
I mean, hey, we saw that right at the end. You had that 2 versus 3. They had the B bomb site secured. Molotovs being used, smoke on the cross. They can go get that bomb plant. They were watching their backs. They didn't have to worry about the window because the molly was down.
Yeah.
And at that point, there's very little you can do unless you find that opening kill. You hope they miss the instant headshot with the AK and you can return a kill. If that doesn't happen, it falls apart, and that's exactly what happened to Tyloo. Unfortunate. I think Hellraisers did really well, just securing themselves that early start into the first half. Really cemented them as favorites on this map, and it was dominance in those last 6 or 7 rounds.
Now, for me, right, we were talking about this, and we didn't really get a chance to discuss it in the previous when we were looking at Dust 2, but Bentet, right, he was a man who was an absolute beast, just a monster for Tyloo over and over again in the past, right, regularly dropping like 25, near 30 frags. But the problem we have now is he's in-game leading, Excurate's come in and he's looking strong. We see great performances from him. Somebody steps up when needed. Captain Mo's even starting to shine a bit more. But that kind of star Bentet that we had from the past, he's not there. And I feel like if we could have him just appear every now and again for Tyloo, that's what would end out games that are quite close here and could have really kind of turned the tide of this for us too.
No, definitely. I think Bentet's performance is a little bit lower now than it used to be in the past. But I think that's a scenario where the weight on his shoulders is a little bit too much.
Massively.
In terms of what he has to do for the team to work. You know, we used to know Bentet as this FPL crazy hero. You know, I played with him a few times. He would just pop off headshots left and right, and that was one of the main Tyloo's advantage going into a game. Now he's a little bit more quiet, but maybe he pulls in the way in other aspect of the game, communication, translation. I mean, we can't. We can undervalue how much that is. You know, they speak in 3 languages when they are playing, and this guy, he has to do almost everything.
I struggle with 1.
Because, you know, we have to give a little bit of credit to Bentet because how much he does for the team to work. But it is true that individually he puts a little bit less frag on the board, and that was one of Tyloo's main, you know, we were feared. They were feared because of him for a little bit of time, and that's not the case anymore. It could be how they, go back up or go higher than they are now if Bentet can go back to that level. Yeah,
well, guys, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be time for Mirage, and when we get to Mirage, we'll break that down, let you guys know exactly how it's going to go. So stick with us, don't go anywhere, and we'll be back very soon.